Mount Akina is the most well-known touge in existence. Popularised by the street racing manga Initial D, this touge is adored by racers of all types. If you've ever tried touge racing, there's a decent chance your first experience took place on this infamous stretch of road. But there's one small issue. Mount Akina is shit. Whenever we drive fast on a road, we intuitively treat it as a racetrack. From finding the racing line, the apexes of each corner, locations for potential overtakes, and, of course, all the frigging potholes. Therefore, for us to understand why Mount Akina is a terrible touge, we need to look at it like a racetrack, and discuss what makes a racetrack great, or in this case, not so great. Design rule number 1. Technical difficulty. When designing a racetrack, the most crucial design element is its difficulty. This can be a fine balancing act between making a bland track or one that is simply too difficult. Mount Akina isn't particularly difficult. In fact, I'd go so far as to say it's boring, no matter how loud you blast Eurobeat. In essence, it's just a bunch of long, bland straights connected via hairpins. Sure, there are a few off-kilter corners that can be challenging the first few times you attack them, but that is as far as it goes. No, literally, that is as far as the roads of Akina go. There's nothing else to it. As a driver, your biggest challenge with Akina is the ability to get a good launch from the hairpins. You'll gain the most time on the straights that follow the hairpins, as we found out on my Racing Lines video, link in the top right. For me personally, Akina simply isn't stimulating enough to even keep me interested in finishing the run. I often find myself becoming bored about halfway down, incidentally when I'm driving one of those massive long straights. The worst part is that this is actually true. In my opinion, it doesn't offer enough of a challenge to be secured as a great touge. There are way more engaging touges which offer more smiles per hour than Akina. If you want a touge that is properly technically difficult, I can wholly recommend Nagao and Usui. Usui is easily in my top 3 touges, purely because it flows so well. Usui feels like it was purpose built as a road to race on. You can pretty much drive the entire thing on instinct. Not only does it have flow, but it also has a huge variety of corners too, from right angles to double apexes and even some acute hairpins. Just look at those cute little fellas. Nagao is cut from the same cloth, but in my opinion it's just that little bit more exciting. This is due to the cambered or banked corners. They make Nagao a pleasure to drive on, as the car settles into these corners and allows you to really push it to the limit without worrying too much about losing the rear end. It almost feels like a roller coaster, with each corner cradling you through. It feels incredible in the least weird way possible. Design rule number 2, low margin for error. Needless to say, the most exhilarating races and battles occur when drivers are pushed to their limit and are punished when mistakes are made. Separating drivers at a high level is tough, and turning up the heat by allowing a low margin for error is important. Again, Mount Akina falls short here. Akina is a relatively wide road. It only really tightens up on the slow corners, which is almost the exact opposite of what you want if you really want an engaging touge. The road doesn't tighten and constrict like many great ones do, and in fact it only gets wider. While some may enjoy this and it may be better for bigger, more Chad cars, ultimately it does make things feel again quite bland. If you lose grip on Akina, chances are you'd be able to recover before binning it into a guardrail. Not only this, but a wide road does decrease the sensation of speed, meaning the drive feels less exciting overall. If you want a touge that has a low margin for error, I can't recommend Takigahara enough. This is an extremely tight touge. I've got to find a synonym for tight. This is an extremely narrow touge that makes even a Suzuki Alto feel like an SUV. The guardrails and obstacles littered around the touge make it seem incredibly claustrophobic. Pair this with the unconventional road layout and you have a touge that can put a shiver down even the most experienced driver's spine. Also, see all those leaves on the ground? Yeah, they have realistic wet leaf physics. So if you turn too much or even think about braking on them, you're gonna have a bad time. It goes without saying that Takigahara is difficult technically. featuring incredibly tight corners, dangerous camber, and both downhill and uphill in a single run. Takegahara is one of my favourites. However, if you want a narrow touge that is less technically challenging, we need to talk about Maze Pass. Again, this touge makes even an 88.6 feel large. It has a more conventional road layout and presents less danger than Takegahara, but it does throw you up and down quite a bit. It's very bumpy, and there's even some obstacles you'll need to avoid, like this small avalanche that is said to have been sitting there since the 90s. You can even see it in Initial D and is still there in real life today. Design rule number 3, overtaking opportunities. This one is simple really. If you're driving at a faster pace than the car in front, you should have the opportunity to overtake. I hate to say it, but Mount Akina is probably the touge that has the most overtaking opportunities available. This is one of its only redeeming features. Retrospectively, this may be why it's so popular, because it's easy to have battles on. Drivers have the largest window of opportunity to overtake in a slow corner that leads onto a straight, and Mount Akina is comprised almost entirely of these. I can't think of any other touge in which overtakes can come on so thick and fast. But I haven't driven them all, or I may have just forgot one, so if you know any, please let me know down in the comments. And while you're down there, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this one. Design rule number 4, a signature feature. If a racing circuit has fulfilled all of the previous rules, there's no doubt that it will be a great circuit. But if a circuit has a signature feature, it can easily be propelled to a legendary status. Now surprisingly, Akina does actually have a signature feature. However, this signature feature is just more hairpins. If you want a touge that does signature features right, Irizaka has got to be on the top of this list. It's comprised almost entirely of hairpins. Now the key difference between Irizaka and Akina is that Irizaka does this in such a way that is actually fun. It's not every day you get to drive a road with 48 consecutive hairpins. Yes, 48. In contrast with Akina, Irizaka offers a much more fun driving experience. Sure, you may get sick of Irizaka pretty fast and may eventually want to venture past second gear, but if you want a touge that has the most prominent signature feature, this is it. It goes without saying that touges aren't purpose-built racetracks. They're merely public roads that were built to go from A to B on the fastest or easiest route possible. People simply decided that they were good enough for racing. However, I've been thinking about making this video for a while, and the racetrack design rules are the best way I can think of to quantify how good a touge is. But of course, rules are made to be broken, and this can certainly be the case with a touge. In fact, I don't think there's a single touge that could be considered perfect. I guess the overarching point I'm trying to make is that a touge is supposed to break these rules in such a way that makes it interesting. And interesting certainly isn't the word I would use to describe Akina. So if you drive Akina religiously or you own a touge server, please feel free to try another touge for once. But of course this is just my opinion. Ultimately, you should do what you find fun. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to drop a like, let me know what you think in the comments, and subscribe for more videos just like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.